cannot be accented. They have accented it, you see. Right? Look at the acute over the Omicron in apostolo. Apostolo. But the rule says they've accented the Omicron after P. Do you see it there? Is everybody with me? Do you see the Omicron after the P in apostolo? Okay, now notice. The Omicron is carrying an accent. What is that accent? Acute, okay. And down the next word, apostolu, same thing. The Omicron is taking the accent, the acute, but it violates the rules because in these cases, the ultima is long. And if the ultima is long, the antipano cannot be accented. Do you see it there? Okay. You see, they've given you a little example. They have accented both of those words in the antipano. But it's wrong because the ultima is long. Long ultima, antipano cannot be accented.
How do we know if an ultima is long or not?
Okay, turn back to your short and long vowels.
The first one has to give it all we did. What makes the second?
See the short and the long? And we'll learn as we go on the final endings how to recognize short and long. It's just something you have to memorize. But if you have trouble, just flip back over to the Greek vowels, and you can see whether they're short or long. Okay? Yes, ma'am?
With that, like looking at the chart, seems to have the omicron and the epsilon next to each other. Like I know that the epsilon can be short or long, but the omicron is always supposed to be short. So what makes that diphthong connecting long?
Okay, the last syllable, epsilon, is short.
So it's based on the last individual letters, not the whole sound?
Well, yes, ma'am, the last syllable. Sometimes, like Omicron iota sigma will be one letter. It's considered one letter, ultima. But in most cases, the last letter, the ultima, you have to look to see if it's long or short. If it's long, then sometimes you're going to have a long no or a short no. And there are rules that govern that. That's a good question. Okay, let's notice now. In case of the long ultima, if the ultima is long, the antipano cannot be accented. But notice, it's not violated by apostoli or apostole or apostoli. Notice where the accent is in apostole. Where is it? Where's the acute accent? Mm-hmm. It's over Omicron, isn't it? And is Omicron the antipano? Yes. But why then can it be accented? Very good. Because the ultima is short. Flip back over to your chart and look for epsilon. And epsilon is short, right? On page 10.
Yeah.
Okay. So short ultima, the pano, can be accented. Okay. Rule 3B. Look at your book. Rule 3B would be violated by Zulu. Look at the circumflex. The circumflex is over epsilon. Omicron epsilon is long. The epsilon is long. So if you have a long ultima, and a circumflex, must have the acute, you see, not the circumflex. The word Zulu has a circumflex over epsilon. It should have the acute, because it has a long ultima. Always look at the ultima. If the ultima is long, then you have to have an acute. All right, Dulon is the same thing, Dulon, same principle. But notice it's not violated by a circumflex over Thulos or Thuli, because the ultima is short. If the ultima is short, then if the if the penult is accented at all, it takes a circumflex. Okay, one more example, we'll move on. This rule will be violated by Thule or Thuli, because epsilon is short and it has an acute over the penult. Thuli, omicron iota is short. Always look at your ultima. Short, long, the antepenult is extended. But it's not violated by Thulu. Notice in Thulu it has the acute over epsilon, because here the ultima is not short. Or by eos, because here, although a long penult comes before a short ultima, the penult is not accented at all. And we'll go over these again, just when you get home, read them, ask yourself a question: why is the accent where it's at? Look at the rules. Go back and discover why they placed the accent where they placed it by looking at your rules. Always notice the ultima of a word. And whether it's long or short, go back to your rules and it'll show you how to accent. Okay? Okay, now we'll do some reading. Get your Greek New Testament. I know it seems like, God, this is ridiculous. I'll never learn it. Yeah, you will. You'll learn it. It just takes a little while. The rules of accent are for your benefit, to show you where to place the stress. Now turn to the Gospel of John in your Greek New Testament.
That would be page 159.
169, Miss Shirley. 169 in your Greek New Testament. And notice the title. The title is Euangelion. Euangelion Tokata Ionin. Euangelion Tokata Ionin. That's the Gospel according to John. Look at the word Euangelion in your Greek New Testament. I want to talk to you about that word just a moment. It's pronounced Euangelion. Back in the days when the New Testament was written, they didn't have phones like we have today. They had very little means of communication. Sometimes, as in the case of David and Jonathan, they could shoot an arrow. And it was predetermined: if the arrow falls short, you run. If it goes past, you're okay. Means of communication. In those days, when a king would go into battle and he would take a city, normally his captain would send a runner back to tell the king, you come in and take the city, lest they name it after me. But they had runners. They had runners. You remember the story about this little guy who wanted to run with the message. And the captain, I think it was Joab, said, no, I don't have a message to send to the king right now. Well, let me run anyway. So he says, okay, go ahead and run. He didn't have a message, but he had to run. So when because most of the time the runner had good news. And that's what the gospel is. The word euangelion is translated gospel in the book of Romans. Later on, the word was transferred from the runner to the message itself. It is good news, euangelion, translated from the runner to the message. Usually the runner would run into a city, raise his right hand and say, Kairos, Kairos Nikamen. Rejoice, we have the victory. And they would say, there comes that euangelion. He's running with the message. Later it was translated, or transferred, over to the message itself. The word euangelion means good news. Good news. That's what we preach. The gospel is good news. So here is the good news of John. All right. Are we ready? Now here's what we'll do. I'll pronounce the word, and then I'll pronounce each letter. And when I pronounce each letter, then you say the letters back to me. For example, the first letter is Epsilon Ni. Then you would say
Epsilon Ni.
Epsilon Ni. Very good. This word is N. Just like the letter N, or I-N, N. N are the key. Now let me pronounce the letters for you. The word is pronounced are the key. Alpha, Rho, Chi, Eta. Now you pronounce it with me. Alpha, Rho, Chi, Eta. Are Chi. Very good. The next letter is, or the word is een. Stress the E. Een. Eta, ni. Eta, ni. In archi, een, o, logos. All right, now here's the word. I'll say the letters, then you repeat them back to me as I say them. The first letter is lambda.
Lambda.
Omicron.
Omicron.
Gamma.
Gamma.
Notice what follows the gamma. It is a consonant, and so you use the rough sound of the gamma. We'll catch it just a minute, a little later on. It's logos, or logos, but I'm trying to teach you how to pronounce it. Logos.
Logos.
All right? Lambda, Omicron,
Omicron.
Gamma,
Gamma.
Omicron,
Omicron.
Sigma,
Sigma.
Logos,
Logos.
K, Kappa,
Kappa.
Alpha,
Alpha.
Iota,
Iota.
K.
K.
Now you see, Erasmus would say Chi, but that's not the proper way to pronounce it. Alpha, Iota is a diphthong, pronounced A. So it's K, K, like a lady's name, K. The next letter is O,
O.
Logos,
Logos.
Lambda,
Lambda.
Omicron,
Omicron.
Gamma,
Gamma.
Omicron,
Omicron.
next letter is K,
K,
or the word K, Kappa,
Kappa,
Alpha,
Alpha,
Iota,
Iota,
K.
K,
Theos.
Theos.
Look at the accent mark. It's over the omicron. That's where your stress is. Theos.
Theos.
Theta,
Theta,
epsilon,
Epsilon,
omicron,
Omicron,
sigma.
Sigma,
Theos.
Theos,
In,
In,
eta,
Eta,
ni.
Ni,
O,
O,
logos.
Logos,
Lambda,
Lambda,
omicron,
Omicron,
gamma,
Gamma,
omicron,
Omicron,
sigma.
Sigma,
Utos,
Utos,
omicron,
Omicron,
epsilon,
Epsilon,
tau,
Tau,
omicron,
Omicron,
sigma.
Sigma,
Utos,
Utos,
in,
In,
eta,
Eta,
ni,
Ni,
in.
In.
Now, these two are the ones that gave me trouble when I began learning them. But notice right here's a perfect example of how to pronounce them. In, eta, ni, and in, epsilon, ni. So there's in, in,
In,
epsilon,
Epsilon,
ni.
Ni,
Archi,
Archi,
alpha,
Alpha,
rho,
Rho,
chi,
Chi,
eta.
Eta,
Cross,
Cross,
P,
P,
rho,
Rho,
omicron,
Omicron,
sigma.
Sigma,
Ton,
Ton,
tau,
Ta,
omicron,
Omicron,
ni.
Ni,
Theon,
Theon,
theta,
Theta,
epsilon,
Epsilon,
omicron,
Omicron,
ni.
Ni,
Now this other one's a little tricky, so watch this. It's panda, theoptu. We'll go back. Panda,
Honda,
P,
P,
alpha,
Alpha,
ni,
Ni,
tau,
Ta,
alpha,
Alpha,
delta,
Delta,
not delta, not delta, the PH, delta,
Delta,
iota,
Delta,
apostrophos.
Apostrophe,
See the apostrophe there? The, iota,
Iota,
apostrophos.
Apostrophe,
It's pronounced panda, theoptu.
Theoptu,
Now notice, there is an apostrophe there. The word is actually the with an alpha on the end. But because there is an alpha that follows that alpha, the first alpha is deleted. In other words, it drops off. Okay? So it's panda,
Honda,
theoptu.
Theoptu,
Notice the alpha epsilon is pronounced off, as we talked to you, remember at the beginning of the class. Theoptu. Now, here we go with that gamma. Notice, please, the word is eyeneto. Epsilon,
Epsilon,
gamma,
Gamma,
epsilon,
Epsilon,
ni,
Ni,
epsilon,
Epsilon,
tau,
Ta,
omicron.
Omicron,
But notice the gamma isn't rough or guttural. It's a yen. Yen. When the gamma is followed by epsilon, it's pronounced yi. Yi. Eyeneto. 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 The word is Yegonin. Notice the first gamma is followed by epsilon. It's pronounced ye. 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 The next one, next gamma, followed by omicron, has the rough or guttural sound. So it's Yegonin. Yegonin. All right, that's the first three letters. Let's read it. In our she, in the beginning, in is was, o, the word, logos, in the beginning was the word, and the word, logos, was, toward or with, pros is with God. Okay? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. And God, theos, was the Word, logos. Utos, this one, is the demonstrative pronoun. Utos, this one was in the beginning with God. This one, utos, was in the beginning, pros with, ton theon God. Panda, all things. The two, through him. The two, through him, came to be. And honris, without him, also. You gotta go past GWINNETT now and look at who they. Nothing came to be that came to be. All right, so that's 1 through 3. Let me read it for you so you'll have it on your recording and you can go back and practice it over and over again. In archi, in o logos, ke o logos, in proston theon, ke theos, in o logos, utos, in archi proston theon, panda the autu, GWINNETT, ke honris, autu, GWINNETT, ude, in o Yegonin. Okay, let's take a break. But somewhat different, yes, sir. Yeah, because that's the way you were talking.
I mean, could y'all turn this smoke screen over here? Yeah, there's auto, as in like automobile, I didn't know they had those back then. I didn't either.